Back again with another one. Bad News Brown, breaking it down. Now in this video I want to talk a little bit about ghostwriters and ghostwriting in the industry, in the music industry and in hip hop. And this is partially inspired due to a Memphis Bleak interview I seen, as well as somebody else, I can't remember, forgive me, but it was a few other artists speaking on the topic regarding ghostwriters and what have you. So I think I need to break it down a little bit, just add some more clarity. So here it go. Well, see, the thing is, first we would have to go back. Now, originally in the music industry, period, ghostwriting was a common practice. I mean, that was the practice. This is where the term being discovered come from. And I'm talking about in the 1920s, 30s, and 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. But it usually would be a person or persons who would fit a certain look, sort of like an actor. And they would place you, already have songs wrote for you, and it'll be an image that you would portray. And it still works to this day, but as time, I don't want to skip too fast, but as time went on, artists and groups began to be more original with it, in a lot of ways had to do with just the industry and just talent wise. A lot of people, instead of just being placed with the songwriters, you had natural people who had the ability to sing and songwrite themselves. So them emerge, a lot of earlier titans or whatever, you know what I mean? And I ain't even got to say no names or whatever, but just period, just the industry as a whole, that's how I kind of progress in R&B, jazz, etc. Because keep in mind, hip-hop wasn't discovered yet. We haven't created it yet. But again, keep in mind, a lot of the groups in the 60s and 70s, again, you had artists who songwrite themselves, but a lot of times they had writers, and that wasn't awed upon or booed upon. See, that didn't happen to the hip-hop as I get to it. So now, here comes hip-hop, something we create, and I ain't going to speak on the circumstance what we created out of, but that was a pyramid we built, pyramid building. They couldn't understand how we did it. And you got to keep in mind, at that time, hip-hop was original. It was an art form. A lot of people said it wouldn't even last. It was just something common that the local kids did or whatever. But it obviously grew legs, and being that it dealt with art and what they say performing art, which was already a label when it comes to contract law as far as this musically period, and plus we broke dance and all that, but they was able to, of course, put a stamp and corral actual rap songs or whatever. But nevertheless, because I don't want to get too ahead, rap was something that we created. The industry took it over, or in the words of a guru, that's why the East Coast artist Guru, that's what he was originally talking about as far as sharecropping, because a lot of the DJs or whatever, I guess it became a point to where, or producers, they came to a point to where, hey man, y'all can't bite this certain sound due to copyrights. And he looking at it like, how long from we created this, and me being a DJ, I'm going to mix and scratch and I'm going to make cuts. Y'all shouldn't sting me for copyrights. Something along them lines. And Guru was one of the artists that I know of that was mainly talking about that, because he seen where it was going. And being that it went that way, some people say we sold off for the money, sharecrop, or whatever. You put what you think in the comments. But nevertheless, when it comes to songwriting, being that rap, the art form of hip-hop, rap itself transformed when it came to gangster rap and whatever, and you having to keep it real and really walking it how you talking it, because now you start rapping about real life raw. You're not really rapping, you're not really expressing your lyricism, and that's where the separation come from. Like now, to me, hip hop and rap is different. Then you got gangster rap, then you got hip hop. So that's where those separations come from. But the double-edged sword or catch-22, well, one of them I think in terms of that is as far as ghostwriting or whatever. Now, remember, the industry was around before hip hop. So when you making a song, whether it be R&B or whatever, an actual song, see, and this is the gray area, and you may have somebody ghostwriting this a song, then that don't too much bother me. But if you an artist, or even if the song happen to be like you keeping it real, or is wrote from a personal first person, and it turned out you didn't really write that song, then it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Because when people, even though you may got the image, people, they're expecting that to come from you. This is why people like Michael Jackson and plenty other greats, because that was them. It was really coming from their soul, and even over time, and I'm just speaking on a rap game. Any other game, you may have an artist, they for whatever reason, they ain't got the time or whatever, and it's a song, and they may be like, oh yeah, let me perform that song, because to swear to God, and I don't even want to just say that, it is certain songs that I heard, and I don't even want to, but I swear to God, I heard it before growing up as a child as a poem, and it wouldn't surprise me that eventually this rap artist end up doing this as a song. Like now, I don't necessarily look at them a certain way, only unless if you claiming to be authentic and all that. And again, see where the separation come from, because again, you got rap just like the same way you got battle rap, and then you got writing songs. You got good battle rappers, but they can't make good music as far as songs. So, or vice versa. So all that plays a part as far as whether you using your lyrics or somebody else's. I ain't even gonna really get too much as far as the legal aspect of it. Let me know what y'all think about that, but that's what I think a lot of the gray area come in though, when it turns out that. And by the way, that song I was talking about, and this ain't no shade, but actually that Rick Ross song, Mafia Music, for some reason that sounds like a poem I heard hella years ago, or something I read hella years ago. And it wouldn't surprise me, Now, it wouldn't surprise me if Rick Ross be like, nah, nigga, I wrote that. But for some, I ain't saying every bar for bar, but just that hook right there. Here's a letter to my enemies that I won't see, and that part right there. That sounds like something I heard or read before. But now, again, to me, only if the artist see in this, you see the confusion or the gray area, because I don't want us to go as far as say song by song basis, or I don't even want to regulate it just to hip hop, because if you're an R&B singer and you got a voice, and hey man, it's a good song, we know you can hit it. I mean, that happens all the damn time. You understand? But there is a thing, because I remember, not to skip what I'm saying, but the first time this really got put on blast, and then it's the internet world, back in the day, was an old school group, everybody know if you old enough, was Milli Vanilli. They won Grammys and hella shit. Everybody remember old school Milli Vanilli, the two dreadheaded brothers. And they won a Grammy, and I remember back in the day, this was like in the early 90s, the first page, they was on the first page of the newspaper, and they had them, and it was like, they're fakes. Then they couldn't find out they didn't write their music. So that's when it became like, I don't know, I ain't gonna say that's when it became notable, but that's really the first time I heard about it like that though. But y'all let me know what y'all think about ghostwriting, man. It depends on the type of genre of music, or the song in particular, like with the artist. Like I said, if it's a song like in first person and you acting like it's you, then I may have an issue with that, versus me personally, versus you just making a song maybe about a different subject. maybe even telling a story. You might can get away with it. It really all depends, though. But see, that's one of the things in this whole hip hop game. It's like a catch-22 now, because although you a hip hop, you still a musician, you still an artist, and you making spit flow, and it might be a nice rhyme, no different than a singer, like a nice song. Hey man, can't nobody spit this like you, man. You can, and you might wanna. Because it happens all the time. When you stole my rhyme, people say it all the time. But see, that's the catch-22, because as a rapper, you supposed to be keeping it real now. It ain't even about the damn song no more, because a rapper let everybody else tell it. All your music gotta be raw and uncut. Reality about you. You can't even necessarily make a song about a concept or an idea or about what goes on in your mind. You gotta talk about living raw. That's you know what I mean? But very few artists can do, but that's a whole different subject. But you get the point, man. You see, I can go on and on about this. But point is, man, that's what I think about when it comes to ghostwriting in rap, hip hop, or the music industry as a whole. You understand? So this is Bad News Brown breaking it down, man. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll be back.